What's going on, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint. I'm back with another recent reads. I just got done reading the Punisher Max Omnibus Volume 1 and 2 by Garth Ennis. I'm not going to have any spoilers in here. This is just going to be my thoughts on the books. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so just got done with the Punisher Max by Garth Ennis. Everybody says this is the quintessential Punisher run. This is the best run, if anyone's recommending Punisher. And I don't know if I feel like that. I gotta be honest with you. I did enjoy the run, but being a big Garth Ennis fan, I've read Preacher, I've read The Boys, I've read his Marvel Knights Punisher run, and this just didn't really feel like Ennis. Like, Ennis is normally like funny and raunchy and X-rated, and especially on a Max title. I just expected kind of more out of Garth Ennis. Not that it wasn't a good run. I think there was a lot of good storylines in here, and there was gore, and it was a Max title. I just kind of felt like they didn't really take advantage of that Max title, and they could have did more with it. This had a more serious tone of anything that I've read of Garth Ennis. It was much more serious, dealt a lot with Punisher's time in Vietnam and how that affected him later on in life. And basically what you have in these 60 or so issues is these little 5 to 6 issue arcs that deal with a different group of people that are affected by the Punisher, that either want to get back at him or kill him or capture him or something. So most of these stories are not really from the perspective of the Punisher. Most of them are these isolated little stories that don't really connect to each other. Now, I don't want to come off like I didn't enjoy the series. I definitely liked it. It's just kind of not what I expected it out of a Garth Ennis Punisher Max run. Volume 1 collects Born 1 through 4, which is probably the best arc in these entire volumes. Born has a different tone than the rest of the stories in here, and deals with him in Vietnam, and it kind of shows that something snapped in his mind before the death of his family, that he kind of struck a deal with the devil or something evil inside himself to unleash the Punisher, really. And he did a lot of bad things in Vietnam, killed a lot of people, and they kind of allude to the fact, like I said, that he was speaking to someone else, whether it was in his own head. They never show you who it is, but it alludes to like it being the devil or something like that. That's as supernatural as this book got. Everything else was pretty much grounded in reality. This has Punisher issues 1 through 30, and when we flip through the artwork, I'll go through the table of contents and break down kind of each arc. This has a $100 cover price, and then Volume 2 collects issues 31 through 60. Punisher presents Barracuda Max 1 through 5, which Barracuda is a character that was introduced in this run, and he's the most Garth Ennis of this whole book. Picture like a big Debo character. He's got a gold grill that says "fuck you." He is a huge, muscular, imposing character. He's from Miami. He's like a gangster type of dude. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like a mercenary as well. Really raunchy. What you would expect out of Garth Ennis. He's kind of what I expected this whole run to be like. Then you got Punisher the Tiger, Punisher the Cell, and Punisher the End. These are 3 standalone stories that were all great. They were all kind of little one-shots. The Tiger deals with the Punisher as a kid. Also, some things happen that kind of mold who he will become later on. The Cell is a dope one. It kind of reminds me of the Daredevil Season 2 with him getting captured on purpose in order to go to prison, in order to hit some bad guys. And Punisher the End is like a what if, a post-apocalyptic future Punisher story, which was just like a fun little one-shot. This also has a $100 cover price. Let's take a look at the artwork and take a look at the arcs, and we'll break down what's in these books, man. Alright guys, so let's take a look at what's going on inside this Omni. So here's the stories. Like I said, they're little 6-issue arcs. Born, I already talked about, which was my favorite one in here. In the beginning, I don't really remember. Kitchen Irish, Mother Russia, Up is down, black is white, and the slavers. All right, we're going to have to flip through these so I can see. So here's Bourne. Takes place in Vietnam. Frank Castle in the war before he becomes the Punisher. This was very much a Max-looking title. Even like the soldier tries to rape this Vietnamese woman. He kills him. The Bourne was a whole different tone, man. Let's see. Yeah, this is when he comes home from the war. All right, cool. So that was Bourne. In the beginning. So this is the first one. So this one basically retells what happened that day in the park when his family got killed. And it shows him going to one of the big mob hits that he does where it's the Don's like 100th birthday. And he shows up and he kills everybody. And it kind of really explains how he uses army tactics to kill these gangsters and wise guys who are just kind of like, you know, not army guys. And he sets claymores up, and I think he even hits the funeral right here. And that's when people are talking about the Punisher, like the authorities, like, look, man, he comes at them tactical. He hits them while they're off balance. He hits them while they're mourning. Like, he's just very surgical in the way. So this one is a storyline that deals with Micro and the CIA, and they're trying to recruit the Punisher in order to go after terrorists, basically. So I thought Micro had a lot of balls in this one, man. This is where we meet O'Brien. And that gets very Max title-ish. She basically gets turned on by the Punisher. And you got to remember, Punisher, they've aged him appropriately from his first appearance in 1976. Like, he's been doing this for 30-something years now. Or, yeah, I guess at the time. This might be from 06. You know, so I guess when I said it, you know, it's a Max title, I guess that doesn't mean it has to be funny. It's definitely got an R rating, and it's a serious tone. I just thought Ennis would have brought a little bit more Ennis to the game. This is crazy. This guy that he got his face blown off by one of his own bombs. He plays a little bit of a protagonist, antagonist, whatever you want to call it, bad guy. There he goes again. Yeah, the covers were really realistic. So Kitchen Irish. What is Kitchen Irish about again? I'm trying to remember. Oh, man, that's when we get this character. He's a badass, man. This is about... This guy is... He's like a black guy that grew up in Ireland, in a really rough part of Ireland. And they kind of say something for, like, to the effect of, if you're black and grew up in Ireland, you're a hard-ass motherfucker, because it must have been tough growing up. Anyway, he's pretty hardcore, man. He recruits this retired... old guy who is known for chopping up body parts for the mob, and he kidnaps this guy's grandson and forces him to do that for him, but for people that are alive. So that's what this whole part was from, and it brings in, you know, the Irish aspect. That's where the title comes from. What's that guy's name again? I'm trying to remember. Magenti? Magenti, I guess. So Mother Russia, as you could imagine, brings in like the Russian mob, and there's this virus that a scientist has created that will basically turn you from that into that in a matter of seconds. The scientist embeds this virus inside of his daughter along with the antidote. And if they don't get the daughter in time, the antidote will kill the virus, and the virus will be lost forever. So Nick Fury sends in the Punisher to get the virus. So he basically has to go into this Soviet silo type of thing, straight up James Bond style. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but it's a pretty cool arc. something happens in here that does have a lasting effect on the remaining later on in the run, where basically the Americans get these terrorists to hijack a plane and kind of 9/11 it into Russia. They basically want to use terrorists as an excuse as friendly fire. All right, what am I doing? I'm flipping through over here. This up is down, black is white means like nothing is as it seems, and it has a lot to do with this Cavella character, who's like a deranged mob guy. This is showing him killing his dad as a kid. His aunt takes him under his wing, but his aunt is like in love with him and wants to groom him to be like the best mob boss ever. Here she is, taking advantage of him. And he ends up being like a really stone cold killer type dude, man, and that makes for interesting stuff later on. Look at this. That's the max title for you. Yeah, he actually digs up Punisher's wife and kids' remains and pisses on him on the news. So that's when shit gets kind of crazy. Punisher gets pissed, as you could imagine. Let's go to the next storyline. This is the last issue of that. Then the Slavers. Yeah, what does this have to do with? This has to do with some human trafficking stuff. Right? Yeah, and this guy's like a real old school badass dude. And basically, like, these girls try to go to this social worker, but she's like some dumb civilian, and she gets them killed and stuff. But that's basically what the Slavers is about. So the front and back of Volume 2 look the same. So you got Barracuda, which is a 5-issue storyline where we first meet Barracuda. Man of Stone has to deal with this general guy. Widowmaker is cool. Widowmaker is like a group of mob boss widows that Punisher killed their husbands, band together to try to take him out. Barracuda Max, Long Cold Dark, I don't remember. Valley Forge is the last arc, which is like an army story. So here's the Barracuda stuff. They call him Barracuda because once you see a Barracuda coming, it's too late. Does it show Barracuda in the beginning? No, not yet. Let's see when we first see him. There he goes. So this has to do with like kind of like some Wolf of Wall Street type scenario, and this guy protege's trying to, he's fucking the boss's wife, and he's gonna try to take over. This guy was gonna rat him out. They hire some people to kill him, kind of story. Barracuda gets beat up, man. He gets his eye taken out, his fingers chopped off, his teeth get knocked out. There's like 10 issues that deal with Barracuda in the second volume. So this is that Stone Man. Basically, like a war criminal. Man of Stone. He's the head of the Russian issue, the Russian crew from the first volume. This guy plays a role. He's the lady O'Brien that I was talking about, and from the CIA. He's her ex, and he's like a international spy con man type of guy. So here's Widowmaker. Here's the widows that all are widows because of the Punisher, and they come up with this scheme to kind of take him over. But another widow who is happy that she made him a widow kind of joins his side. It was a good arc. I enjoyed it. Here was the Barracuda stuff. Oh, the motherfucking places you'll go. Yeah, the Barracuda stuff is what I expected the whole book to be like. It shows him. He's from the Army as well. Or from the Marines or something like that. So, Long Cold Dark. Which one was this? You know, Barracuda was in... This is the last arc of Barracuda. I forget. Oh, the Long Cold Dark has to deal with Punisher ends up having a kid with O'Brien, and Barracuda kidnaps his daughter. So that was kind of crazy to see Punisher back trying to save his family. It's pretty crazy. So the last arc is cool. The last arc is like, look, we got to think like the Punisher. We know he won't kill police, and he definitely won't kill soldiers. So let's send a squad of soldiers after him. He definitely won't kill them, and we won't have them kill him either. We'll just have them capture him, which was pretty cool. And it was cool seeing him use non-lethal tactics against those guys and outsmart them. And here's the Tiger stuff. This is like another little bit of a fleshing out of the Punisher, showing him as a kid, seeing an injustice be brought to justice from somebody from the neighborhood that ends up going to the army, and he follows. Tiger is like a poem from when he was a kid. And what was cool about the poem, it was supposed to be like God creates everything. Tigers, sheep, humans. But Punisher as a kid was like, you can't tell me the same God that created a lamb is a God that created a tiger. Because it's like, a whole nother level. The Cell. This was ripped right out of Goodfellas, man. Like these 5 mob guys locked up kind of like in the better part of prison where they can eat steak and lobster. And they kind of have all these privileges. Punisher gets himself locked up to go in there. And it shows how he climbs the jail ranks of beating up people, and how he basically infiltrates the prison in order to kill these guys. Then this is the end. Punisher's an old man. World War III happened. The whole world's fucked up. And it's like a what if Elseworlds type story. Yeah, man. The end. Alright, guys, that's my review on the Garth Ennis Punisher Max Omnibus Volume 1 and 2. I really hope I didn't come off like I didn't like it in the beginning, because I did enjoy this. I have to read some more Punisher before I can say if this is the one that I would recommend for anyone. They have another Punisher Max Omnibus by Jason Aaron, who I love, and Steve Dillon, rest in peace, but I'm not really a fan of the artwork. Then you got the Remender run, and his original stuff in that War Journal Omnibus. So it was definitely a cool book. A little too much of a serious tone. I mean, I know Punisher is a serious character and everything, but for Ennis, I kind of expected something a little bit more slapstick, like a little bit more like Preacher or like The Boys. Give me some better dialogue, and I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, man. I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but hey, it is my opinion. Sound off in the comments to let me know what you think. Drop me a like on the way out, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more recent reads, along with other daily content like Omnibus comic book hauls, collection updates as far as every Omnibus release so far for the Punisher, statue unboxing and reviews, live shows, Comic-Con coverage, daily coverage. So subscribe, hit that bell, and stay minty fresh.